guys, the one brand tutorials are back. You asked for them, so I'm bringing it back. And I kind of wondered, I've done so many of these, I was wondering if this series had kind of run its course, but I continue every so often. Somebody asks, can you do another one brand look? So here I am with a one brand tutorial on BECCA. This brand was specifically requested by Savannah Lee on Twitter, so thank you so much for requesting it. I had pretty much every product I needed for this full face BECCA tutorial, except I didn't have a BECCA brow product or a mascara, so I had to sub in some other things there, but everything else on my face is this brand. And the reason why I hope these are useful tutorials is because you can see how all the products from a certain brand come together to create a look. We can talk about what some of those signature products from certain lines are, and then kind of wrap everything up with a bunch of mini reviews on these things. So feel free to request what brand you'd like to see next. I go every other with high-end and drugstore. And with this look, I think we're kind of able to achieve sort of a full coverage effect with this particular foundation that BECCA has. Definitely a glow on the cheeks and kind of a berry eye look, so I hope you enjoy it. So for starters, I'm using my Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. I have this in the shade Buff, and it's kind of on the verge of not being the right shade for me, especially if I get any more color in my skin. I think it's really going to be a little bit off, but it's very yellowy toned, this shade. So I just use a full pump of that, and I think in the claims it says like 1 pump is all you need or whatever. So I'm just going to spread this around, and as you can see, it's it's definitely going to take care of any redness I have, let's put it that way. So I just spread this all over, just that 1 pump. And then I'm using a damp Real Techniques sponge here just to kind of dab all over the skin. This is a pretty thick foundation, and I think it benefits from the dampness in the sponge. Just kind of makes it blend in and look a little more skin-like. See, this foundation has really nice coverage, but I think if you had really dry skin, it could possibly, you know, accentuate that a little bit, because it has that thickness to it that I think could get kind of clingy if you've got some patchy areas. Next, I've got this under eye brightening corrector, and I do have a review of this over on the Express channel, so if you've seen that, you probably know I don't really like this product. It's kind of a pinky toned concealer, and it does have a little bit of shimmer or glow to it, so I hesitated to even want to use this in this video, but I thought, heck, I'll go ahead and show you. I feel like it kind of could act as a brightener, maybe better on the cheekbone type of thing, but as a corrector, as an under eye darkness corrector, it seems to just kind of bring glow to those areas, but not really camouflage them. And in the claims for this product, it was really touted as something that would completely, you know, be all you need to cover up dark circles. I'm just going to use this Up and Up concealer brush from Target and kind of blend that in. You can probably see here, you know, you can still see the darkness around the eyes. It's just, you know, they catch the light a little better, I guess. Now, I know there are some new, like, actual concealers in this format that I have not yet tried. I really want to. I want to see what kind of coverage those have. What I do have is a concealer that I'm not sure if they're even selling this format still. It's the Compact Concealer in Tahini, and it has like 2 levels of coverage. I got this off of Haute Look, so that's what makes me think it's being phased out somewhere. I'm not sure where you could find it. One side is labeled as medium coverage, and one is labeled extra coverage. I'm going to use just a little bit of that medium coverage side and just go over that corrector that I put down. I'm going to put a little bit of this around the nose. And again with that concealer brush, getting this up to the lash line, trying to take care of a little discoloration there around the nose. I love the idea with this concealer of pairing 2 kinds of coverages, or 2 textures, because they do feel different. One is thicker, one has a little more like moisture to it, and I really like that idea. Now, I really would love to set that, and I don't have any BECCA powder, sadly, so I'm just going to use a little bit of this Ben Nye Cameo powder. Sorry, I hope you don't mind. I feel like I need something there. Not really going to use this all over the face. The foundation for me actually doesn't seem to require a setting powder. At least on my skin. If you were really oily, it might be a different story. I'm kind of like normal to combo skin, so I don't tend to get super duper greasy unless it's just a product that's extremely dewy. Next up, I'm gonna do a little contouring with the Low Light Highlight Perfecting Palette. These are cream products in here. I think they might make a powder one as well. And I'm using my Real Techniques sculpting brush. If this sounds familiar, actually I reviewed this brush on the Express channel and the demo was with this product as well. And I do have that giant BECCA One Perfecting brush, but I don't love it with this product. I also don't love that brush with the thickness of this cream foundation. So I'm just gonna dab into this part with the sculpting brush, and then I just start swiping it right here in the hollow of my cheek where it's naturally, you know, a little bit deeper. And this is great for a cool toned cream contour. I mean, it definitely mimics just that natural shadowed look that you might get. You lay down the product, but for the size of it, it doesn't require a lot of, you know, buffing out, because just placing this size of a brush in that area seems to kind of cover it, you know? So I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. The nice thing about using cream contours is they go exactly where you want them to go. I am going to take some of this around my hairline as well. Got the little baby hairs cropping in. I know this review isn't about this sculpting brush, but I tell you what, it's like a team effort with this and that product. They were made to be used together, it seems. And if you wanted to contour your nose, I don't have hardly anything on my brush right now. You could just easily sweep this down the sides there. Now, since we've already got this compact out, I'm just going to go ahead and use the highlight that's in here. This is a really pretty highlight. See how it's got plenty of glow, but it doesn't feel super, you know, creamy to the touch. And I'm going to pick some of that up straight from the compact with my e.l.f. small stipple brush. And I'm just going to start dabbing that right on tops of the cheeks. And see how subtle it is? I mean, it's a really soft highlight glow type product. These blushes are so cool. This is the Beach Tint Shimmer Souffle in Watermelon Moonstone. I got this as part of a little kit that Ulta was selling, the Best of BECCA set, and I was thrilled that this product was in there because I really wanted to try it. So I'm going to pick that up also with my e.l.f. small stipple brush, and this has like a mousse-like softness to it. There's a little more moisture in this product than a ColourPop blush, if you need a little reference there. But I just like to go little by little. Just has a beautiful glow in itself, you know. If you use no other highlight, you would still have kind of glowy cheeks with this product. And it smells great too. Very fruity, fresh. Okay, so I just cleaned up my brows a little bit. I couldn't use any BECCA stuff. I don't have any BECCA brow products. I'm not even positive if they make a brow product, but if they do, I don't have it. And the shadow I'm using is the Astro Violet Quad. I got this off of Haute Look. It's the most interesting looking one that I have from BECCA. So I'm going to take this shade right here that has a little bit of brightness to it, a little bit of a metallic finish, and I'm just going to pat that on the inner part of my lid. And then it's like we've got varying tones of purple. So I'm going to take this matte shade and I'm going to kind of blot that all over the lid and kind of overlap most of the shimmery shade. And then I'm going to take some of that, a little bit of the deepest shade with my E25 brush, and that's going to be our crease color. So I'm just kind of softly buffing this into the crease. I think I'm going to add a little bit of that darkest color right here to the outside. I'm going to buff over that edge a little bit just with a bare brush. And then this color that seems to have the most pink in it, I'm going to pick that up with my E36, just my little white wispy brush. And I'm going to take this over the edge of the look. I don't know, it just brings a little something interesting to this because these plums are just very dusty, you know, they're not really loud purpley colors. They don't show up with a lot of purple intensity. It's not that they're not pigmented, they're just more of, you know, muted takes on purple. So I like using this shade that's a little bit brighter in this compact where it will actually show, you know, kind of up above the eye. Okay, so I don't have a BECCA eyeliner, so I'm trying to be a little bit creative here. I'm dampening a liner brush with a little water and I'm going into this deepest shade. Just gotta keep going back, lay it on, and it's still gonna be rather subtle. but just using that liner brush to get it right up next to the lashes. And then I don't know if I would really advise this, but I did it on the other side, so I kind of have to do it here. But I am doing a wing with this powder shadow. And it's a little bit tricky because you want it to look kind of clean, but you're dealing with powder, so it's kind of hard to control. You got to make sure that brush is wet, and that'll give you the most precision, I think. I'm also pulling that shade while I'm working with it right down here to the lower lash line, so kind of making that connection to the wing and pulling downward. Then I'm going to use a pencil brush with this color. I'm just taking that underneath where that darkest shade is and just kind of smudging it inward. And since I don't feel like this shade makes a really great highlight, I'm pulling in my Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. Look at that shine. So I'm just brushing that on with my E40 right up under the brow. Next up, I'm just going to curl the lashes, apply mascara top and bottom. I am adding a bit of a false lash on here. I think these are the Ardell Fairies is the style. So it's kind of a natural type lash. It adds a little length and thickness. For the lips, I'm going to be using one of my beach tints. This is the one in Raspberry. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out on my hand here, and typically I would just get some on my finger and dab it on the lips, but I'm going to be just a little more precise here. This is what it looks like really concentrated and then sheared out. You know, it's a beautiful blush actually if you want to shear it out on the cheeks, and it just gives this really nice kind of pillowy effect to the lips. That's always the word that comes to mind when I use these products because they feel kind of nice and soft on there. It's just kind of this natural matte stain on the lips. I just love the look. They are buildable too, so you could apply it really lightly and get like the lightest amount of color, or you could add to it. Just keep in mind when you add to this product, you will be able to feel like there's a little less weightlessness on the lips the more product you add. I feel like I get fuller color when I use a lip brush, and so this is what one coat of Raspberry looks like. It could be more sheer if you applied it with your finger. And I tell you what, having that berry lip makes me want to apply a little bit more of this berry color in the eye quad up above here. Just want to intensify that a little bit because I love how it's coming together. I would just feel bad if I didn't work in my favorite BECCA highlighting product, because this is the brand that's all about highlights, and if I don't use one of my favorites, I'll just be ticked off with myself. And I don't really need any more, but I'm gonna throw in a little bit of my Shimmering Skin Perfector. This is the one in Pearl. I also have Opal and love it. The Champagne Goldeny one is really nice. I have the trio of these and they're just great. Look how my hand has become a palette. This Pearl one is fun because it's, I think, the most brightening. Spread it out on my hand, get some on the small stipple brush, and just add a little bit here. And I love it because it's one of those highlights where you could be head on, you could be not hitting the light, and maybe it doesn't show so much. But when you turn and you catch the light just right, it really shines. No identifiable sparkles in this product, shimmer, glitter. I mean, it's just kind of fascinating. So here's the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching this BECCA one brand tutorial. At the end of these videos, I like to do kind of a wrap up on the products I used, mention the ones that were my favorites, and the ones I didn't like so much. And really the things that I like the most from this line are the products that relate to blush and highlight. I really think that's what they do best. I think one of the most fascinating products from this line, if you ask me what's one thing I should try, I would say it's the Shimmering Skin Perfector in this liquid version. I think these are so great. And these little ones with the wands, that's not how it's normally sold. I think it's a larger size with a pump. I'm not sure if the trio of the small sizes is still being sold, but that's a great thing to get to just sort of sample them because they give your skin such a beautiful radiance, but they do so without the appearance of like glittery particles. They're also kind of multitaskers because you could mix them in with, say, a moisturizer if you just want a really light, dewy glowiness to the skin. Mix them in with foundations, wear them on top of everything. I love doing that. I love the beach tints. I have two of these. I have Guava, which is more of a peachy tone, and Raspberry. Raspberry is my favorite. This is gorgeous on the cheeks as well, and I'll link below to a video where I demonstrated this as a blush. It's really, really pretty, so I love that. Also, this Beach Tint Shimmer Souffle, really interesting texture. It's creamy, but it's very light and mousse-like, and this particular shade I think is stunning. Very easy to blend also if you just wanted to use your fingers. It's a very easy to work with cream product. If you like cream contouring and you've been struggling to find the right tone, I think you would really enjoy the Low Light Highlight Perfecting palette, because this is a very cool cream contour shade, and I just found it to be really easy to work with. It gives that subtle contoured effect, and it works great with this Real Techniques sculpting brush. I don't know that this is really a must-have for everyone, because I know some people really like their powder products for contouring, and you know, not everyone enjoys using a cream, but if you do, if you're in that specific kind of, I don't know, sector of the makeup world, you might really like that. And by the way, the Shimmering Skin Perfector that I have here in Opal in the powder version, it gives a more pronounced highlight. Look how metallic that is. I think it's a little more visible on the skin when you wear it. I'm not saying it's not gorgeous, but I've tried a lot of really nice metallic powder type highlights similar to this, and I think the liquefied version of that product is just a little more unique from this brand. I don't feel like the eyeshadows are anything too special. Every quad that I have, and I'll just show you the other ones here quickly. I have this one in Sun Chaser, that's very basic neutrals, and I also have Galactica. That was one of the first ones I bought, and I think I did do a demo with this in my other BECCA video. And the shades are kind of like, you know, colors, but they border on neutrals because they're so dusty seeming, if that makes sense. You know, they're kind of toned down, they're kind of smoky. They're pigmented, but the texture is not like exceptional. I don't feel like saying, hey, run out, you must find these BECCA quads, because I just don't think they're that incredible. As for this foundation, the Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream, I think it's gonna really vary person to person as to who's gonna love this. I think it's got great coverage. I really enjoy the staying power as well. I was kind of surprised that BECCA, the brand known for all the glow, put out a foundation that is so matte and so full coverage. I think dry skin people may struggle with this a little bit. Even me with my normal to combo skin, I find that the best application is when you're using a dampened sponge. Even so, I don't like this better than my Estee Lauder Double Wear. The most comparable thing to this would probably be the Double Wear that's just in the regular formula, and I think that looks just a little bit better on my skin. This just looks a little more makeup-y on the skin, so I don't think I'll be repurchasing that. This concealing duo, nice. I won't talk about it a whole lot because I don't even know that it's still available. I love that they put in 2 levels of coverage. The one thing that I really just do not like from this line that I've tried is the Under Eye Brightening Corrector. Like I said, full review on this for more details, but it just really seemed to attract attention to those areas where I had under eye darkness as opposed to completely covering it up. So I hope this tutorial and review was helpful to you. When I do these one brand tutorials, I go every other with high-end and drugstore brands, so the next one will be drugstore. Thank you for requesting that I bring these back. It's always helpful to me to know what you want to see. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.